Hello everyone and welcome back to another bad movie review with the Unsavory Heroes, where we watch bad movies so you don't have to. I'm Thadaconda, and this week we kick off everybody's favorite post-Thanksgiving pastime with Black Friday. This horrendous day after the Day of Thanks is just the worst, especially ever since retailers decided to say, hey, our employees, we're gonna open on Thursday instead. I have lived through a few of these, so I'm gonna give a little bit of insight from my observations. Number one, no, shopping is not the mayhem that the media portrays it to be. At least if the store knows what it's doing in terms of security, that is. You're not going to get trampled as soon as the doors open. That's a 1 in a million thing. Two, working the shift actually isn't that bad. I kind of enjoyed working those late Thursdays going into Fridays. Yeah, it sucked that I had to cut dinner short, but at least in terms of the shift, it went by pretty quick. I think it was because it was a constant flow of customers and having people to work with, as opposed to having a lot of downtime like a usual shift. It did kind of drag maybe towards the last hour, but I mean, when I got home and slept, I felt fine. Three, managers do care about you, but they also kind of don't. They will tell you, hey, great job. But what they really mean by that is thank you for helping me meet my sales quota. Because remember, they're the ones getting the bonus, not you. Now what's interesting about this movie is that it kind of nails these observations that I just pointed out, as well as a couple of more. It even gets the kind of people that work in retail right. And they might be a little extreme, but it's entertainment. So just how bad is this movie? Well, as you all know, there's only one way to find out. So get in line and get ready to shove that grandma in front of you over, just so you can get that last item on the shelf as we go rummaging through Black Friday.
Our holiday madness begins with some random shop worker being pissed about shoppers showing up way too early for Black Friday shopping. As he's trying to post a banner, something comes flying through the roof. Monty goes to investigate and finds this weird pulsating thing on the ground, and being the genius that he is, moves in for a closer look. The thing goes all alien egg and gives him a money shot. Two of Monty's co-workers go to find him, and I'm guessing get attacked by the infected Monty before we hit our opening credits. We then meet two of our three main characters, Ken and Chris. Ken is a divorced father, and Chris is a germaphobe whose dad is an asshole. The two have a conversation on how much it sucks to work the night of Thanksgiving.
Again, I agree. This situation does suck, having to cut your Thanksgiving night short and having to go into work. However, I will say this. You chose to take that job. You knew what you were getting yourself into, so quit bitching. That's the double-edged sword you chose to die on. However, I will give props to a couple of big stores recently. They've decided to say we're not going to be open on Thursday anymore and just open on Friday. So kudos to you, you know who you are.
We meet a bunch of other characters including Archie and our last main character, Marnie. Ken has a thing for Marnie despite being old enough to be her dad.
If you think this is something this movie just made up, you've obviously never worked in retail.
Corporate sent cake to make up for the employees having to work that night, and Anita's whole character is all about being a corporate suck-up. And she mentions how the store has changed the name of the day from Black Friday to Green Friday because somehow Black Friday is racist and green represents making money. Chris is all down about Anita winning Employee of the Month again, and we meet store manager Jonathan, played by the legend Bruce Campbell.
So this is what happened to Ash after the Evil Dead storyline. He just can't get out of working in stores apparently.
Name's Ash. Housewares.
Ken gives new guy Emmett some advice on how to handle Black Friday shoppers.
I take a deep breath and I think to myself, what would an idiot do?
He's not wrong at all.
The doors open and the people go on their mad way to shopping.
These shelves are not fully stocked. You'd want them full, that way you reduce the amount of times you have to go to the back to get something, and so you have the maximum amount of product on the shelf for customers to grab. This is terrible management, and it's no wonder why Jonathan got runner-up for his award.
Chris is having trouble with the register, and Brian punishes him by making him clean up vomit.
I hope Chris is trained to deal with a situation like this, otherwise Brian can get in a lot of shit with corporate.
These fucking idiot customers.
Once again, he ain't wrong.
Just make sure you don't say it around an actual customer. Angry grandma goes to sit on the Santa chair, and somehow no one has noticed this thing under the seat. Chris comes across infected customers and gets into a scuffle, which includes doing what every employee wants to do to a shopper on this night. Even though there's more than likely video evidence of Chris getting attacked, he's being punished and is tied up in the back room. Jonathan, being the stereotypical store manager, is more concerned about a violent shopper than he is his traumatized employee. Emmett, the new guy, gets attacked and infected. As Anita tries to help him, he attacks and kills her. Archie puts 2 nails into the new employee, but it's not really effective. Brian gets a hold of the Schaumburg store, and it turns out they're under attack as well. Jonathan is in denial of what's going on in the store and is still talking about corporate as Anita is turned. The gang splits in two, with a few heading into the office area and a few more going to close the employee exit. Ken tries to find his bottle of liquor and somehow has forgotten which tile he's placed it over. It ends up shattering on the ground, which begs the question of how he ever got it down or even up there in the first place. Upon grieving over his lost alcohol, we're reminded about the guy Lou from earlier who really had to use the bathroom. Barney goes to investigate what the infected shoppers are doing, and it turns out they're being sucked into some giant blob looking thing. The employees reconvene at the front of the store, and it turns out there was no holiday bonus from corporate. Not only that, there were going to be layoffs after the holidays. While they're all bickering, Ruth gets destroyed by a police cruiser. The infected make their way back into the store and everyone scatters. Chris gets pinned by a monster and is saved by Archie. The badass stays behind to fight off as many infected as he can, but is ultimately taken out from above. Chris gets chased down by Emmett into the back room, and Marnie just goes to town on his face. The power goes out and the remaining survivors lament over how they've wasted their lives working at the store.
This scene hits way too close to home.
Jonathan gives his reasoning as to why he's been with the company for almost 30 years, and it's basically because he enjoyed having the power.
There is some truth to this with the way managers act in retail. However, this is an extreme. But I would venture to say that probably about 40% of managers act this way because they are in the position they're in.
Barney comes up with the idea to hand out some turkey to the guys to act as Thanksgiving dinner, while Jonathan throws out his random trivia about Black Friday. Ken and Chris get into an argument where Chris basically pulls a Mitch from waiting.
You're the coolest guy at Shenanigans. Woo! That's like being the smartest kid with Down syndrome.
However, this argument doesn't end the same as Chris crosses the line.
You see me way too often to be your actual child.
Pump your brakes, kid.
Barney then breaks it to Ken that they're not actually dating and were just kind of a fling. Ken storms off in a huff and Marnie and Chris chase after. Barney and Chris get the idea to get into the delivery truck and make their escape. Jonathan decides he's going to stay behind, mostly because he's obsessed with the store. That is, until infected Emmett shows back up. Ken and Brian get involved in fighting the creature and Ken ends up being bit, so he decides to stay behind. Marnie tries to give Chris a pep talk about what Ken said about him being a waste of potential. We then get another feel-good story about how people are good and corporate is bad when Marnie reveals she let a woman steal from the store so her kids would have a Christmas. Chris makes it outside the truck and instead of immediately getting into the cab, he feels the need to alert infected Bircher of his presence. Upon entering the cab of the truck, it turns out Chris has no idea how to operate the vehicle. Ken gets chased around the back room by a monster, and the four in the back of the truck get rocked around. In the process, Ken chucks the dour dentist, and the defective toy starts a fire. Jonathan and his group get to the roof of the building.
Instead of, leaving the store.
And Jonathan finally snaps about holiday shoppers and sacrifices himself for next to no reason.
I mean, in like 2 seconds, they end up falling off the roof into a dumpster and are totally fine anyway. There was no reason for this to happen.
Ken finds his phone and it turns out his daughters are safe, but then he gets snagged. The weird parasite thing continues to grow, and Brian reveals that he's the one that bit Ken. Doesn't make sense as to why he did it, but just know that he did. Barney beats the shit out of him, and they end up falling into the aforementioned dumpster. It turns out the maniacal monster terrorizing Ken is the mean grandma from earlier. The creature gets absorbed into the blob thing, but not before Ken smacks it with a roller skate. Barney, Chris, and Brian try to find a car, and the final boss reveals itself as all the shoppers molded into one. Brian tries to reason with it by acting like it's a customer, but he gets flung into oblivion. Ken comes racing out of the store and they all issue their apologies. Chris gets the idea to drive the forklift at the monster. Somehow this works and the thing falls into the flames of the store. The three drive off to get some pancakes. And we find this was not the only monster in the area before cutting to our credits.
That's Black Friday, ladies and gentlemen, a movie that gives you the gritty insight to what retail workers have to deal with every Friday after Thanksgiving, including being chased by rabid monsters. This movie, it hit me pretty hard. It also brought me to the crumbling realization that I pretty much wasted the better part of my 20s. So, you, movie. But in all seriousness, this movie had potential, but it just sort of fell flat. It does have its moments, especially those that are pretty much realistic, but it doesn't really do much more than that. There's not really much character development, and things just sort of happen so the movie can move along. But I will say that the costumes and the makeup for the creatures were phenomenal, so kudos to the crew for that. So for these reasons, I think it's safe to say we can give this a 3 out of 6 beers. It's pretty mediocre, and I'm pretty sure the only reason Bruce Campbell was the producer and an actor in this was because he just needed something to do for a weekend. Well, that'll wrap things up for this edition of Another Bad Movie Review with the Unsavory Heroes. If you made it to this point of the video, thank you for sticking around, and make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons below to help support the channel. If you have anything you'd like to say about the review, the movie, or if you have any ideas for any future films we should feature, make sure to leave those in the comments as well. We also stream on Twitch basically every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so feel free to stop on by and watch us as we play some games, watch some movies, and just have fun doing whatever. You can see whenever we go live by checking out our social media feeds on Twitter and Facebook for the most part. So make sure you check all that out, otherwise you know what'll happen if you don't. I'm Thadaconda saying thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time here on Another Bad Movie Review with the Unsavory Heroes.